Welcome to We're Woke, aren't we?
The podcast where we deep dive into the culture, society, and everything in between.
Join us as we navigate the woke wisdom and unravel the truth of the world.
Get ready to challenge perspectives, spark conversations, and explore what it truly means to be woke.
Hey guys, we're back.
Hi guys, welcome back to our podcast. I'm your host, Riance.
And I'm your host, Chloe.
And you're listening to
We're Woke, aren't we?
In today's first segment, guys, we're going to be talking about educating the patriarchy.
What's the first topic of today?
We're going to be talking about all things challenging patriarchal norms, fostering gender inclusivity, and basically what it's like to be a woman in an all-man's world. Chloe, how do you feel being a woman in an all-man's world? What's it like in 2024 today?
Tiring.
Oh.
Exhausting.
Oh, over it.
I'm over it, yeah, basically.
Over it. I did find an article, let's go an article, talking basically things that shaped our society due to patriarchal norms, due to patriarchal standards, that's made, let's just say, living for women just a bit, teensy-wincy bit difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of things our viewers, our female listeners listening in today can definitely relate to. For me personally, why are we still, in 2024, promoting men to be violent because it's seen as masculine? Guys, masculinity does not mean violence.
It definitely doesn't.
It does not mean that. It does not have to mean that. It can mean that. It has meant that. But we can also let go of that.
Yeah.
Still pushing out this narrative that it's okay for men to be violent and exhibit violent tendencies because that's what makes men men, and we need to make men again. It's putting women at risk every single day. Just a couple of weeks ago, I saw a TikTok of an influencer that made a video that she was walking down the street in New York and she literally got punched in the face.
Oh yeah, you did tell me about that. That's bizarre.
Funnily enough, I see another girl that made the same TikTok same day saying that she also got punched in the face in New York.
Right.
So we have men going around just punching women in the face. There was a video from last year, I don't know if you remember it, I don't know if any of our listeners remember this, where a girl basically had rejected a guy.
Yeah.
And he punched her or backhanded her so hard that the entire face, her side of her face had swollen like 10 times. Like, it was huge. Violence amongst men is seen like an okay thing. Why would they step in if we treat it as an okay thing? We normalize it. We tell men to, we encourage young boys to be violent and say, oh, that's just boys being boys. No. It's boys being boys until that boy does something he can't take back.
And it's clear that men have very fragile masculinities and egos, because how can she reject him and he punches her in her face?
Okay. Can no be an answer? Can we actually get back to the what's the word? Logical thinking when someone does not want to have a romantic relationship with you and they simply get to walk away intact.
Yeah. Like,
we're not asking for much. We're just asking you simply to not put your hands on me.
Yeah.
And to not then turn around and call me ugly after you were just trying to chat to me 2 seconds ago. It's quite literally insanity. You're acting very irrational right now. And it's not a man thing to do. It's not a manly thing to do. Actually, it's a childlike thing to do.
To throw a tantrum.
That's and to
exactly
kick around
what that
and
is.
Punch and kick. That's a childlike thing
that
to do.
That is definitely a childlike thing
So
to
if
do.
you're a grown man resorting to violence just because you feel, I don't know, hurt?
Yeah.
That's the only thing we can put it as. Because you're hurt, you think it's okay to punch someone in the face. Going back to the other story I just said of the girl getting punched in the face, she was just walking down the road. Like, literally was walking down the road, doing nothing.
That's so random.
So random.
That's actually...
And what has been done? Was he caught? But do things like this happen every single day? Do we hear cases and stories like this happen every single day? Yes. How many times have we reported it in school and they don't do anything?
But I literally just remembered that story you told me about the lady who got raped on the train.
Oh my days.
And people were just watching.
There was a similar story that happened in America, but there was a story that happened not even a few years ago, like 2-3 years ago, in the UK, guys, on the Victoria line, may I add. It was definitely a TFL. Actually, let me not may I add. I'm pretty sure it was Victoria line. But you guys can go and research that case right now. It should come up. Traumatizing. He had gone around doing similar crimes in terms of like violence against women sexually and physically, and they had yet to catch him. Yeah. He's now been caught, thankfully, and is being, serving his sentence or whatnot. But he had committed crimes previously. Why was he not caught up until this time? You see what I mean? Like, if things are handled accordingly, if violence that men exhibit is not seen as like a normal thing in a way, and that we don't treat it carelessly, and if the police and the justice systems treat it for exactly how it is, a crime, an abnormal thing to do, there wouldn't be an extreme case where someone's getting raped on the train. She was sleeping.
And it's like frequent, these cases.
It's frequent. We're hearing stories like this coming out more often. If not, I'm not going to say that both cases are linked, but the case that happened in America, where the lady was raped on the train and people had watched, this was more in broad daylight. It was like in the middle of the day, and nobody did anything to stop, may I add. Crazy. But how do we know that after hearing that case going globally, who's to say that the man in the UK that committed the crime didn't get the idea from that case? Who's to say? Who is actually to say? Yeah, a few years different.
Because it's definitely like things like
world,
that are,
like,
or incidents like that is normalized in America. Like, there's actually people who do this every single day. There's way too many cases in America.
Way too many. There's countless of cases of violence from men towards women in America. But it's about breaking down this normality of it. That's what we're trying to get our listeners and people listening to today, is removing stigmas against speaking out against uncomfortable approaches from men that you do not feel comfortable with as a woman, as a person, whoever you are. Shutting that shit down, basically, when it happens. Letting them know, no, I'm not okay with what you're doing. You're making me feel uncomfortable. I do not want to carry on having this interaction with you. Leave me alone.
And I guess women tend to not do this because of the repercussions, and they're scared.
How can we not be scared?
Women they're not taken seriously.
Of course we're not taken seriously. That's another thing for another day and another pod. But of course we're not taken seriously. And that goes back to years and centuries of other ish. But in today's day and age, in 2024, there should be no excuses. There's no excuses. There was no excuses back in 1508, but they made excuses. But in 2024, there definitely isn't no excuses. Women should be able to go outside peacefully, freely, feel comfortable, feel safe. Women are still not safe. We're not safe even from the police. I literally, and I mean literally, this week, read a story of a police officer raping a 13-month-old child.
A what?
Or was it a 3-month-old child? One of those two numbers. Yes. Locked himself in a room with the child while the mother was banging on the door, bearing in mind, and raped her. And all he has been given,
has to be
he's been suspended. He only
got suspended?
Yep.
There you go.
And he suspended himself, by the way.
So they weren't going to suspend him?
We don't know.
What the heck?
But it's just things like that, like the blatant disregard for female life, the blatant disregard for female pain, agony, stories, voices.
I guess it's just inconsiderate.
It's inconsiderate. Let me give you guys a bit of education here. There's a thing called the double deviance theory, I believe, where if I know, I'm going to tell you this thing. Basically, to sociologists, theory that when women commit male dominated crimes, i.e. murder, rape, for example, they're given a harder sentencing, a harder trial because they're women, and they're going against female stereotypes of what women is meant to do and what female crimes are supposed to look like. Female crimes ranging from like petty theft, things like that. Cool. How much do you want to bet if this story was a female police officer had done that same exact crime, she would have not been suspended, she would have been fired, put in prison, and the sentencing would have been severe. She probably would have got life. She probably definitely would have got life. But why do these things have to be, like, why does this have to be the case? Why do things like this still get to happen? Where a mother is banging on the door to get her child back, and because you have a badge, because you're a man, because you're more dominant, because you have power, and you're exercising that, you're abusing that power.
Because he's meant to be protecting her.
Yeah, protecting her and the child, actually.
Yeah, instead he's raping a baby, abusing his power.
Disgusting, actually, to even think about. Quite sickening to actually think about.
It's vile.
Societies dominated by patriarchal hierarchies give men disproportionate levels of power. They subjugate women to different types of conflict. different types of unsafe dynamics, i.e., it doesn't matter if you walk home in the middle of the day, the morning, or the night, you can still be kidnapped and raped.
Literally, I'm so tired of hearing this.
I'm so tired of hearing
talk
this.
about women going out at night. Like, we should be able to go out anytime we want to go
We're
out.
the ones getting curfews.
And still be safe.
We're the ones getting curfews. No.
She's so unrealistic.
It's unrealistic.
If someone wants to hurt a person, they'll go to any lengths.
Like,
it doesn't matter if I'm walking
gonna
around.
Stop. Like, curfew's gonna stop someone from committing a crime. Like, please. They will break into your home. Like, what would this be the first time a man or somebody's broken into someone's home to do something to them? No, it wouldn't be. But let me tell you guys some steps, some tips you can give your male counterparts, your male friends, your boyfriends, whoever, to just educate them more on releasing some of the control they have, or at least being aware to the privilege that they get to have with that control and how they use it. Not entertaining male jokes that are disrespectful and misogynistic. Like, jokes about boobs, guys. It's childish. Let it go.
Immature.
It's immature. Jokes about female body types, female body parts.
Men have a lot to say about women.
A lot, too much to say. We're the ones that like to gossip, but you guys are the ones that stay talking about us. I want you to think about that. Anyways, stop talking about female bodies. Not only is it disgusting, it's damaging because it then pushes out this unrealistic, let me emphasize, unrealistic standards that young boys will then push out to other boys and think is a realistic thing. And when they go in real time, in real day, meet a woman and they don't live up to it and they get upset at that and result to violence, it'll be because you guys were pushing around male-led jokes.
Yeah.
Jokes about things that didn't exist. How about we start with that? How about educating your friends and not being pedos? If the girl doesn't want to do something, do not tell him to, like, go ahead. No. Call your boys out on their inappropriate behaviors.
Yeah.
Call them
do
out.
not encourage.
Don't encourage it.
Your peers to do bad things. Like, that's actually just common sense. You're listening to We're Woke, aren't we? Stay tuned for more on Staying Woke.
I'm your host, Riante.
And I'm your host, Chloe.
Make sure to keep in touch with us over on Instagram and TikTok at We're Woke, aren't we? Encourage your peers, your friends, whoever they are, to do things that you know is wrong, especially if you feel uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
Also, men, do not feel... I notice a lot in male-dominated spaces, there's like a thing of like, who is the chief leading the group? Y'all need to leave that issue alone.
Not the chief.
Real. No one's the chief.
I don't think it's something that's really like discussed.
They don't discuss it, but it's
definitely,
like it's like, who is more dominant here? Who has the bigger willy? Guys, nobody cares. Nobody cares. If you feel like head chief is doing something wrong, call head chief out. Mm-hmm. You'll live. It might rough you up a little bit, but like hold your own. Do you know what I mean? Guys,
be okay with the consequence.
Guys cower too much. Cowardice? Cower? You know what I mean. Yeah. That word, when they get around one another, they don't know how to act. That's basically what I'm trying to say. When men get around one another, you guys don't know how to act.
Yes, sir.
A guy can be a sweet guy. As soon as he gets around his boys, he's spewing misogyny like there's to no tomorrow. And it's insane, because that's not who you are, Mart. That's not who you are, Mart. Be who you are. Be who you want to be. Be who your mum raised you to be. When you get around the boys, don't forget who you are.
They do be acting differently.
They act differently.
They do. I'm
telling you, want to see a man's true colours, put a mic in his bag and hear how he talks around his boys. That's who he is, to his core.
That is.
Come on now.
It's given leader.
It's given leader and it's given sheep. I know men don't listen to women. Let's just put that out there. I don't feel like men listen to women. There's only so much yelling and screaming we're gonna do that they'll listen to. The rest of it is them on their own. Is whether they choose they want to listen is when they listen. But let me tell you who men always listen to. Number one, as soon as they say something, their ears are open. Men. Yes. Men listen to men. Men want men. Deeply. They want each other's approval. They want each other's admiration. They want each other's everything.
Yeah, they do.
So by educating one another amongst yourselves, separate to where the ladies are, if you even want, that's how we break down the patriarchy. They need to want to change themselves. So you start in your group. You start with saying, you know what? I'm done with these dumb jokes. Like, I'm not laughing no more.
Yeah.
Stand on not laughing. When they ask you, oh, why are you not laughing? Why are you not laughing? Just be like, I'm not going to laugh, bro. It's not funny. Don't you have a mum? Do you not have a sister?
Yeah. It's just all about respect.
It's all about respect. Respect yourself and you will be respected.
And do not seek validation from others.
Don't seek validation.
Seek it within yourself.
That's what they do. Exactly.
And just follow your gut feeling. If you feel like whatever someone's saying is like stupid, if you feel like this is not okay, then surely it's not okay if you feel that way.
If you know you wouldn't say this in front of your female friends, your female loved ones, if you know you wouldn't say this around the women in your life that you actually care about, why aren't you saying this behind closed doors?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this behind closed doors? Something you're not comfortable doing on the stage, you shouldn't be doing, no? Okay?
Exactly.
And that is the end of that segment. We're going to wrap that up because if we used to carry on, we could talk about men.
We could talk about it for days.
For days and years and centuries. 40 days and 40 nights, and I'll be hungry. So, let's not do that.
Oh, my days.
Just going to leave you guys with, don't be followers. Cut the violence out. Let's find peace for all and peace for one. Okay? Please. Ain't that right, Chloe?
That is right, indeed.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Now, moving away from men, let's talk about old men. Generational gaps. Guys, this generational gaps is the next segment.
Generational gaps.
We're not talking about old men, guys. That was just a joke. Today's pod, we are going to be talking about addressing perceptions on health for our youth versus what the older generation have been telling us and why we need to actually start listening. Why we need to clock in, why we need to get our pen and paper and listen to everything they are saying. Because they literally have lived a life. They know the different stages of what the human body will and has gone through. And they're telling us because we haven't reached there yet. So, as me and Chloe are newly adults, she's just turned 21 a month ago. I just turned 21 a few days ago. As newly adults...
Guys, real estate is 21.
I'm 21, guys.
April 20th.
Okay, she's waiting on the date. But, as newly adults, we're going to give our younger youth, we're going to give our little man
some tea.
We're going to give you guys some game.
Yeah.
If you are under the age of 18, get to do your stretches.
Do your stretches,
today,
guys.
In fact, after this podcast, even while you're listening to this podcast, let me talk you through what you're going to do. You're going to pull out your mat. Or you're going to sit on the bed ground. Even if it's on your bed. I don't care.
Do it on the floor.
Do it anywhere.
If you don't have a mat, there's no excuse. Do it on the floor.
We have to start stretching, guys. You have to stretch your hips. You have to stretch your legs. You have to stretch your arms. You have to stretch your back. Chloe, tell them why they need to do all those things.
Guys, trust me, you have to, because you actually don't want a hunchback like I do.
She has a hunchback. And it's not like the hunchbacks you see old people have. I know you're giggling, you're probably
I know you're kikiing.
Like, one of the hosts got a hunchback. Yeah,
how are you 21 with the hunchback?
Yeah, 21 with a hunchback. But no, guys. As funny and devastating as it is, it's upon
serious.
Her own doing. That's why there's...
Yeah, I can't literally blame anyone else but me.
There's not much to do because we've all been told to sit up straight. In class, they tell you to sit up straight. Mm-hmm. At school, they tell you to sit up straight. They've been telling us to sit up straight for 10 years. Have you been listening? No. But today you will listen.
Especially if you're in school. You're always at a desk. So you guys should learn to sit up straight.
You're always on your phone.
Fix your posture.
You're always lying down, talking to your friends in uncomfortable positions. Like, come on, man.
Guys, listen, because literally, was it year 11?
Something like that.
Yeah, the end of year 11, I noticed that I was getting a hunchback, guys. And it was very concerning.
Very.
I was very upset about that.
She went to the doctors.
I went to the doctors and they basically said...
a chiropractor that she has not seen.
That I do need to get to.
You need to get to it, but it's not your fault. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. Don't get caught in the scam, which is NHS. Me and Chloe are every day calling our doctors at 21. You think we're 60-year-old women. And is it our own doing? Yes. But then no, because young people are not given enough education about taking our health seriously. Yeah. So it's not entirely your fault, you listening, but it is up to you it's your responsibility at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. It's no one else's body but your own. No one else is going to feel the pain but your own. So when older people are telling you drink your water, go for walks, do your exercise, even at school at PE, none of us like PE. It was like, what are these dead sports? Why are you making me do this? Who wants to do rounders? But you need to stay fit. Mm-hmm. That 1 hour lesson we was doing each day, we don't even know how beneficial that was. Yeah. Imagine we wasn't doing that. The pain me and Chloe would be feeling on top of the pain we're feeling now would be indescribable, guys.
No.
During the pod, I'd be weeshing and eeshing. Like, no, nobody wants that. So right now, we're on our wellness, we're on a health journey because, like, it's not really a choice. I don't know why we ever thought being healthy was a choice. It's not a choice. You either be healthy or you die young. You choose which one you like. It's not a choice, guys.
For real, guys, take your health seriously because honestly, I realized that my posture needed sorting out because I went to the doctor's just before lockdown. No, just after lockdown. And the doctor was basically like, have you been on your phone? Like, have you been lying down a lot? And I was like, yes, I have been doing those things. And she was like, because of those things, this is why you have a little lump in your neck.
Yeah, and the only way it's going to go is with regular stretching and exercise.
She recommended Pilates.
Pilates, yep.
And
Pilates is no small little boy thing.
No, it's
not a little boy thing, for real. If you want to start Pilates, you better start stretching before. Otherwise, you will go there and you will be embarrassed. They will shame you silently, though, because the Pilates people are very nice. Yeah. But it's nothing like a gym. Even the gym people can't take on Pilates. Pilates is a whole another ball game, guys.
No, it is. It requires a lot of core strength. Which you'll realise that you don't have core strength.
For shite. Even the person that listening out probably are thinking, yeah, I bang up bear gal. I be a bear man. I promise you, go Pilates. You'll be humbled within the 1 hour session. Automatically, you will see a size 2 woman do things that your body can never do. Because she has core strength.
Yeah.
It's not about muscles, guys. It's about can you even lift your body mass? Guys, I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't even know that's what proves how weak you are. I can't lift someone that's my weight. Guys, listen, let me tell you that again. I cannot lift somebody that is my own weight. That is not a good thing. That is not a good thing at all.
Bro, I can't even lift up myself sometimes.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's not a good thing, bro.
No, it's not. It's really not. I
shouldn't be huffing and puffing when I'm walking up the stairs.
Literally, guys, you think, because you're young.
Drink your
water. And that you don't feel pain. Oh, no, when you're 18, it will kick in, guys.
Kick in like a piece of brick.
Because this shoulder of mine too, guys, I just got bare illnesses and aches and pains.
Basically, guys, listen to the older people. Educate yourself on what you can do to make
Don't be ignorant. I know. I get it. Sometimes old people are like condescending and they're a bit whatnot.
Long. You look at them, you're thinking you're walking bare slow, but like, trust me, it will be you one day. It will be you one day.
Because your body will shut down.
Oh, you're not young forever. You're not young forever. You're not young forever.
Okay,
you're not young
singing.
Forever. Seriously, guys, you're not young forever.
No, you're not. You'll realize when you are 18, you're like, how am I 18 right now? How did we get here? It's not making sense.
You're probably thinking, I can't wait to be 18.
Oh no, you can wait too. You can definitely wait for that.
You could take it. You could actually enjoy your age you are. You could enjoy being 15. If you're over 18 listening right now, you already know what it is. You're probably like, yes, to every single point me and Chloe rose, because you're already feeling the pain. Mm-hmm. You already know what we're talking about. You already know how real aging gets, and it comes out of nowhere. But this is for our younger listeners. We want to teach you guys something. We want to give you guys some wisdom. Mm-hmm. Hopefully you'll listen to us, because we're not too old. We're only 21, you know. If you're 15 listening, we're only 21. We're like your aunties. We're not that older than you, I hope. And I hope you can take our advice. I hope you can seek some wisdom from We're Woke, aren't we? And, wake up to the truth and wake up to the facts that you actually have to take your health seriously. The sweets, guys,
because we know the sweets we were having for breakfast. I was even having ice balls for breakfast. That's actually criminal.
And ice cream for breakfast. That's crime.
Criminal.
That's a crime.
Sometimes you don't eat for the whole day.
Yeah, you're thugging it out.
Then you go and buy McDonald's afterwards.
That's insane. That's not a diet, guys.
Like,
I didn't eat a broccoli for like 5 years. I didn't eat vegetables for 5 years. It's like, that's like death row for a human being. And I really thought I could live life not eating vegetables. Who did I think I was? Jesus. I'm not invincible.
Guys, I know the chicken and chips, it'd be good, but
it clogs up your arteries, bro. It clogs up your lip.
And have some vegetables.
We sound like an NHS ad. No, for real though. Get me on there if that's what I have to do. If I have to brainwash the youth into taking this shit seriously, I will. Mm-hmm. Because no more guys. Let me give you a statistics. Young people, as young as the age of between 18 to 24, a lot more young people are starting to get colon
cancer.
Yes, colon cancer. That is basically in your gut, in your belly, and it's because of all the plastic preservative foods, especially when we were young, those early 2000 era, when all these heavily mass snacks and all this ish that we eat now, so like, got pushed out into the public, into the mainstream. Not our faults, once again, we were kids. Our parents were just doing the best of what they got. But it's had an extreme effect on our generation, on our health, because they're starting to see people very young starting to get belly cancers, getting gut cancers. A lot of young people are getting GERD. If you don't know what GERD is, go and do your research. It's a real thing, guys. It's having real and serious effects on our generation. So really, guys, take this advice. Listen to us. If you can, check in with your doctor. If you're not going to your doctor at least 2 to 3 times every couple months, that needs to change.
Yeah, that needs to change.
Clock in with your GP.
Also,
get updated on your health.
The reason why we tend to go back to these fast foods because it has MSG in it. What's MSG again?
Let me get the term.
But this is something like a flavor enhancer that they put into foods
definitely a flavor enhancer.
that makes us keep wanting more.
MSG is basically what makes us like all the takeout. It's called monosodium glutamate. That's how you pronounce it, glutamate. It's not harmful. That's what they say. It's not harmful.
So they say.
But other people say it can be very harmful.
Yeah, because it keeps you wanting more of those foods.
It's what gives us that takeaway flavor, basically, that McDonald's, everything has. Cereals, fast foods, frozen foods, everything.
Basically, guys, just have a balanced diet.
Yeah,
not to say you can't have those things.
Have your sweet treat.
But in moderation.
In moderation. Take your time.
Yeah.
Be careful. Watch yourselves. With that,
you're listening to We're Woke, aren't we? Stay tuned for more on Staying Woke.
I'm your host, Riante.
And I'm your host, Chloe.
Make sure to keep in touch with us over on Instagram and TikTok at We're Woke, aren't we? Now, move on to our last segment of the pod.
Our love to you.
Our love to you, guys.
This is Riante's segment, guys.
Is it my segment, guys? Or was it our segment? It's my little love piece.
I love learning about it, though.
It's our little love piece. And today we are going to be reading. We're reading the same book, and I'm hoping you guys are saying it with me. All About Love by Bell Hooks. You guys can get the book in the description below. We'll put the link of the book where you can purchase the book below. Today we're going to be reading about healing redemptive love. I'm going to read you guys a chapter from it, and we're going to get Chloe's thoughts, and we're just going to talk about it on the pod with you. Okay, let's start. To truly serve, we must always empty the ego so that space can exist for us to recognize the needs of others and be capable of fulfilling them. The greater our compassion, the more aware we are of ways to extend ourselves to others and make healing possible. To know compassion fully is to engage in a process of forgiveness, recognition that enables us to release all the baggage we carry that serves as a barrier to healing. Relate, guys. Truth. Compassion opens the way for individuals to feel empathy for others without judgment. Judging others increases our alienation. When we judge, we are less able to forgive. The absence of forgiveness keeps us mid in shame, which basically means just keeps you stuck. Mm-hmm. Often our spirits have been broken again and again through rituals of disregard in which we are shamed by others or shamed ourselves. Shame breaks and weakens us, keeps us away from the wholeness of healing. When we practice forgiveness, we let go of shame. Embedded in our shame is always a sense of being unworthy. It separates. Compassion and forgiveness reconnects. I'm going to stop there for now. What do you think about that, Chloe?
I think that's very relatable because I find with myself that I can sometimes be like, I'm not as compassionate.
Are you a forgiving person?
Well, I like to say I am, but sometimes I catch myself like still holding on to things.
Yeah. It's when you think you've forgiven, but when you, let's say it's a person, that person's foot in front of you, and that feeling still comes back up, is when you know you haven't. You have not healed past the situation.
Yeah.
To heal past the situation is to not be triggered by it in the slightest. It's to have no feelings towards it, actually. It's to just, to let go. When Bell Hooks says compassion and forgiveness reconnects us, it's shame and judgment is... Judging is shame. It's the same thing, if you didn't know. By judging someone, you're only judging them because consciously, subconsciously, the thing or whatever it is they're doing, you would not do. You would feel embarrassed if you was to do it, and that is why you're judging said person. So judge, embarrassment, shame, all align as one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I've never felt embarrassment, but I've never felt it to the magnitude, I would say, I see everyday human beings experience it at. I don't allow myself to get embarrassed. Ever since I was a kid, it's just never been something I thought was necessary for me. Nothing was ever that serious, but that I buckled in front of a group of 10 people or 50. It's normal. Everyone does it. But I see in day-to-day that human beings, young people especially, we allow embarrassment and judgment to consume us. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's because of social media. I don't know if it's because of just the world that we live in and what's been promoted to us. But we've also been taught in the midst of that to hold the shame, hold the embarrassment, and to never forgive. Forgiveness means you're weak. Forgiveness means that what that person did, that it wasn't as serious because you're forgiving them. No, someone can do something to you and you can forgive them and let go of it, but it doesn't take away from the fact that they did that to you. You don't have to let go of the the lesson of the hurts that you just experienced, but you can let go of the hurt.
Yeah, you can forgive.
You can forgive. You don't have to feel the pain.
You don't have to forget.
You don't have to forget. You're never going to forget.
Yeah.
When they say forgive and forget, it just means forgive and move on. It doesn't mean actually forget it.
Yeah.
Of course you will
just
not
don't
forget.
let it
Dictate
consume you.
Don't let it consume you. Don't let it dictate your actions and whereabouts. Just because you went to that one place and you wasn't able to do that one thing and you felt shame there doesn't mean you don't go there again. You go there again and you don't feel shame that time. You overcome it so you can go there every time. Why would you allow something to tell you what path you can take? With compassion and forgiveness, it's not something that our generation has been fortunate enough of experiencing much, because the older generation are not very compassionate and forgiving. But it's something our generation is definitely striving towards, to being more compassionate to one another, towards people that are different than you, understanding, respecting people that are different than you, forgiving, letting go of situations and things that don't favor us or don't serve us anymore. That's something I've noticed that our generation is definitely striving towards, going down the right route of it. But it's about doing that on a bigger scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's about doing that with even your parents, guys. I know it's hard to forgive their treachery. It's hard to forgive the pain that you've experienced from people that were supposed to protect you and supposed to care for you. But you're doing more hurt to yourself by still hating them. You're doing more hurt to yourself by still holding on to that. They've hurt you, but you don't have to hold on to that hurt. They've misguided you. They've broken your trust, but you don't have to hold on to that. You can choose to be the bigger person. And yes, they're your parents. Yes, they're your auntie, whoever it is. Yes, they should be the one to do it first. But why can't you do it first?
Healing is beneficial. There's no other outcome.
There's no other outcome.
Yeah.
Do you want to heal or not? Those are only two options you have. You can choose to heal on your own timing, or you can choose to put your healing in the hands of somebody else and let them fuck around with it, by all means. Or you can let go of the situation and choose peace. That's what I've learned is the biggest goal of all. That is the number one for everyone in life, is to have a peaceful life. To have a life without wahala, without problems, without stress. Yes, that's what I like. Let me carry on with the book. Forgiveness not only enables us to overcome estrangement, it intensifies our capacity for affirming one another. Without conscious forgiveness, let me read that again. Without conscious forgiveness, there can be no genuine reconciliation. Going back to what Chloe said, she had not truly forgiven if when the situation was presented in front of her, she was still triggered by it because she wasn't consciously forgiving.
Yeah.
You had just put it out of your mind. The hurt,
Like,
whatever they did to
wasn't
you,
actively doing anything to change that.
You wasn't. You was just like, you know what? They fucked me over. I'm just going to put it out of my mind because if I think about it, I'm going to get pissed. That's not forgiving.
Mm-hmm.
That's you blocking out some shit you need to deal with. That's you bandaging it up instead of healing the wound. That's not going to get you outcome. You cannot genuinely feel healing if you're putting bricks over the situation. And you won't genuinely be able to make amends with the person or whatever is hurt you.
If you're holding resentment.
Okay, deep down.
Yeah.
Making amends both to ourselves and to others is the gift of compassion and forgiveness. It's a process of emptying out wherein we let go all of the waste so that there is a clear place within where we can see the other as ourselves. So that is basically getting to a place where you forgive someone that you can recognize that if you was in that situation, if you was them, what would you have done? How would you have handled that situation? Or whatever the case may be. And forgiving them for that. Because that's how they chose to handle that situation. Even though that's how they chose to handle it hurt you, and yes, it was their choice, who are you to say that if you was in their shoes, you wouldn't make the same choice?
Yeah.
Who's to say that you would be better than them, that you wouldn't hurt them also? It's recognizing that anyone can be at any place in their lives. Anyone can do anything. It's recognizing that compassion is not easy. Healing is not quick. But it's achievable. It's not a weak thing to have compassion, to be kind, to be nice to one another. It's about breaking down these undiagnosed mental illnesses. Like, seriously. It's about breaking down these undiagnosed mental illnesses that we must be an angry society.
Yeah.
We must be angry with one another. That if someone comes in your property, you must shoot first before communicating with them. That is a mind of someone that is insane. That is not a logical mind. That is an irrational mind. And if there's anything you guys can take away from this pod, is to not be irrational.
Yeah.
I think in every episode I've said that. And I will continue to. Because being irrational is why we are in the world that we live in today. People do things irrationally.
Yeah, we're not mindful enough.
Not mindful. There's no thought process behind people's actions nowadays, and it's kind of getting scary. It's kind of getting scary that you can go outside and you'd be strangled for like absolutely no apparent reason because that person was going through something that they didn't want to deal with, basically. And they decided to take out their violence on my body. And that's kind of sad. That's actually kind of really crazy.
It's crazy.
That's kind of actually really crazy to do that.
Yeah.
Like, last week, there was a shooting at a mall in Sydney, in Australia, where someone had just gone into the mall and just brought a gun and just started shooting up the place. A few people were injured, but one person lost their life that day. And that did not need to happen. No idea what that person was experiencing or dealing with. Yeah, but I don't care what it was. There was no excuse for you to bring your violence and your issues onto other people's lives. And now someone's lost an auntie, a brother, a friend, a sister. Someone's lost a loved one. That person meant something. It's a careless thing to do. It's an inhumane thing to do. Because human beings feel compassion. So why was you not feeling it in that moment? Why was you shooting recklessly? And yeah, our listeners listening in, a lot of our listeners are from the UK. We don't have that same gun violence, but there's definitely violence with knives. There's definitely still violence that occurs day to day. And it's just about, one thing the UK does have, we're so aggy to one another.
Yeah.
We are so aggy. Unnecessarily, may I add, but we're aggy.
Yeah, we're not patient with each other.
We're not patient, we're not kind. The way people speak to one another, it's not respectful. In the slightest, and there has to be change, and it can start with us. It's always going to start with us. It's always the younger generation that will lead the torch for the next and the next and the next. So we need to lead the torch for the next generation that has been born already, that are watching us, that are mirroring us, so that we can be their example. Let's set the example that we didn't have, guys. And for that,
let's do better.
Let's do better. Let's do better as a collective, because we are a collective. We're the Gen Z generation. We dictate what our futures look like. If we say we don't want flipping, I don't know, voting to happen anymore, and we all just stop voting, things would be okay. Things would be okay. You know, the voting just wouldn't happen anymore. And that would be okay. Because that's something we chose for that to happen. So if we come together as a collective and say, we're just gonna be compassionate, we're just gonna be forgiving, we're just gonna be kind, what's gonna happen? Oh wait, everyone's just gonna be kind.
Exactly.
It's like flipping, eating mashed potatoes and peas. Simply as is. It goes together too well. Let's do that, guys. Let's do that as a collective.
Yeah, we should.
And on that note, that's the end of the podcast, guys. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for listening, guys.
I'm your host, Riante.
And I'm your host, Chloe.
And that is...
We're woke, aren't we? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of We're Woke, aren't we?
Keep the conversation going by following us on Instagram and TikTok at We're Woke, aren't we? And sharing your thoughts with the hashtag We're Woke Podcast.
Until next time, stay curious, stay woke.